All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Achakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will's edifying to the Lord's elect.
White House defending Secretary Pete Hegseth, who was under growing scrutiny after authorizing 2 strikes on an alleged drug boat. The first strike taking out the boat. Tonight, questions about the second strike, reportedly targeting 2 survivors.
That's at September 2nd. This is December 1st.
Washington Post reporting Hegseth ordered his team to kill everybody on board the boat. Lawmakers from both parties asking serious questions, particularly about that second strike and what President Trump is now saying about the second strike. Here's Martha Raddatz tonight.
Tonight, the Pentagon facing accusations of war crimes after a second strike on a boat carrying suspected drug traffickers off the coast of Venezuela. This video from September...
Suspected drug traffickers? I thought you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Second shows the first hit on the boat, but tonight questions are growing about a second missile that was fired. According to the Washington Post, it was targeting 2 survivors who were clinging to the wreckage. Tonight, members of both
that's the devil for you, man.
Parties sounding the alarm, saying international law prohibits killing enemy combatants who no longer pose a threat. The Post reporting that at the outset of the operation, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had ordered his team to kill everybody on board the boat.
Wow.
Hegseth has called the Washington Post report fabricated, saying the military acted in compliance with the law of armed conflict.
Well, they just said you didn't. They said that once they pose not a threat, you're not supposed to attack them, and you still attacked them. You're full of shit.
Tonight, President Trump said he didn't know anything about the second strike, adding he wouldn't have wanted it.
We'll look into it, but no, I wouldn't have wanted that, not a second strike. The first strike was very lethal, it was fine, and if there were 2 people around, but Pete said that didn't happen.
But today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed there was more than 1 strike on the boat. She didn't confirm or deny that survivors were targeted. Leavitt saying the strikes were authorized by Hegseth and carried out by the mission's commander, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley.
On September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
ABC's Rachel Scott pressing, asking how did those 2 survivors present a threat to the U.S.?
And what imminent threat would 2 survivors pose who were clinging presumably to the wreckage of that boat?
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law.
Tonight, Democrats...
Don't answer the question. You know, it's just like, it's ridiculous, man. And it's not what's going on, because we understand the Lord does all these things, man. Ain't nobody perishing being innocent. That's number 1. But number 2 is the accountability of things. You don't have to answer a damn thing to you people, man. And you vote for these people. They're not saying shit. Oh, well, Pete told me there was nothing wrong, so there's nothing wrong. Pete's telling you it's this dude's telling you it's that dude's telling us this dude. Then you go talk to them, well, he didn't do anything. Well, he asked you a specific question. Did the people who survived pose any threat? Well, he worked in his power to do what he did. That's not what she asked you, man. Politicians, man, they don't answer you none of your questions.
Democratic and Republican lawmakers demanding answers.
You know, that is against the Geneva Conventions. That's against the laws of war, which we should always be abiding by. We're the United States of America. We have to hold our people to a higher standard. This is really serious.
He don't even follow his own laws. And the crazy part about him not following those laws, he damn sure don't follow the laws in the Bible. Find 1 law in the Bible that this devil follows, and you'll be proving me wrong, because I can't find not one. I can't find not one. He's full of shit.
And David, tonight, in a rare bipartisan statement, top Republicans and Democrats are vowing to get to the bottom of this and determine the facts. And while the White House defended the September strikes today, by mid-October, when another suspect hit, the survivors were rescued and returned to their home countries. David?
Martha Raddatz live in Washington. Martha, thank you.
You see? So that's what's going on right there. This is New York City landlord.
Huggies double grip strips versus
there
baby
are
gear.
thousands of units that are not being rented out because it no longer makes financial sense. It's called where.
Hold on, Salakia, let me rewind this.
Let's go to this. New York City landlords sounding the alarm over Mamdani's rent freeze plan. Madison Allworth joining us from Brooklyn. And Madison, what are the landlords saying about this? They're not happy, I'm sure.
No, they're definitely not, Stuart. And they're saying that the affordability crisis is only going to get worse because this is all about access to these units. Right now, there are thousands of units that are not being rented out because it no longer makes financial sense. It's called warehousing. And what landlords are telling me is that if this rent freeze goes into effect, thousands more units will be taken off the market, which means everything that is remaining goes up in price. Landlord groups like Gotham Housing Alliance tell me that there are tens of thousands of apartments that are sitting.
Gotham Housing Alliance. That's a hell of a name. I gotta look that up. Gotham Housing Alliance. That's crazy. That's crazy. Gotham Housing Alliance is a New York City-based group advocating for property owners, particularly small landlords. It opposes what it describes as a broken housing system and aims to be an alternative focusing on policies that it believes should work for everyone. The Alliance is active on social media and uses its platform to organize, speak out against certain policies, and recruit new members. Mission: to advocate for property owners and address issues in New York City's housing system as they believe the current system is broken. Yes, it is. Methods: the Alliance uses social media platforms to organize members, rally against proposed housing policies like COPA, and encourage participation in events. Members: the group appears to be focused on bringing together landlords and property owners to show strength in numbers. Other entities: it's important not to confuse the Gotham Housing Alliance with the Gotham Organization, a real estate developer that partnered on the Gotham Point residential development in Long Island City. The Gotham Housing Alliance is a separate advocacy group. But I was just thinking Gotham, like Batman, you know. Let's see what Gotham City is: a fictional city in the DC Comics universe, most famously serving as the home of Batman. While it is depicted as a corrupt, crime-ridden metropolis, its exact location is not fixed and is usually placed in the northeastern United States, often in New Jersey, with its design drawing inspiration from real-world cities like New York. You cannot make this up, man. You cannot make this up, man. It's just hilarious. Esau is a funny. This is how we like to tell you the truth, man. And just he's just a devil, man. Let's rewind that.
Off the market, which means everything that is remaining goes up in price. Landlord groups like Gotham Housing Alliance tell me that there are tens of thousands of apartments that are sitting empty, low, to justify the renovations that would be needed. And it's not just the renovation cost. That's what's so important about this story. Landlords are sounding the alarm over property taxes. So take, for example, this building you see here. These are 4 units. You see 1 staircase here, 3 behind me. Back in 2017, when this was built, the property taxes for just 1 unit right here was nearly $25,000. Now, 8 years later, it's up to $44,000. You've seen a 44% increase in property taxes alone. Rent obviously hasn't gone up 44%. Landlords say this is all because of New York City government making the problem worse, and they fear it's only going to get to be a bigger problem. Take a listen.
When did this become an ATM machine? Or an open checkbook? When do you get an open checkbook that you can write on any time, hey, we're going to increase it again. Hey, we're going to increase it again. This is an ATM machine. This is what happened in New York City. This is exactly what was your unaffordable. Stop. This is what it is. This is your unaffordable, okay? And it's going to go up again.
Okay, so I just want to correct myself because I said 44 twice. Each unit here, $25,000 property taxes back in 2017. Today, it's $36,000. That's that 44% increase. But you do see on screen, rents are also going up. We're in Brooklyn. Rent is up here nearly 10%. In Queens, even worse, over 10%. So you can see why a policy like a rent freeze sounds really good to the voters that elected Zoran Mamdani. The mayor-elect has talked about lowering landlord costs. He's mentioned things like adjusting property taxes as part of this larger equation around rent freeze. But Lopes warns that if nothing is done and we see this rent freeze and property taxes stay as high as they are and continue to raise, you're going to see thousands of units come off the market next year. Stu?
And that would not be good news. Thanks so much indeed, Madison.
So, if
good morning to you. Tell us about your
if all these units get off, then you ain't gonna have it. No one's gonna be able to live there. They're gonna come off the market, man. Let's see what that means. Let's see if I can put it in context. I don't know why they ain't explained themselves, but what does it mean when a property is not on the market anymore? When a property is not on the market anymore, it means that the listing status has changed from being actively available for sale to no longer being offered to potential buyers at that specific time. So you can't, here it is, you got an empty building, you need somewhere to live in. They have the place, but it's not even being offered. And nobody's living there. And you wonder why homelessness and all of that's going to go up. Okay? This status change can happen for several common reasons. So the most common and positive reason, the seller accepted an offer, the transaction closed, the property has a new owner. But it's for different reasons, economic reasons. But this has something to do with SNAP benefits. I'm going to...
So right here on live now from Fox, and one of those big headlines having to do with SNAP, as new work requirements have now been put into effect. We want to talk a little bit more.
New work requirements in order to have SNAP.
More about that on Capitol Hill we go. Fox Business's Dan Botello joining us here with the latest.
Good evening. Well, starting today, food stamp recipients all across the country, millions of them, are going to have to start working, volunteering, or doing job training.
Working, volunteering, or doing job training. Get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. To keep your EBT.
At least 80 hours per month. This is all under
80 hours per month. 20 hours a week. I don't think it seems like a lot to do that, but when there's no jobs, good luck trying to find a job. No one's going to hire. A lot of y'all who are on that are out of your damn minds, man. Out of your damn minds. Who knows? Maybe there's some jobs online you could do. You know, pick up phone calls and, you know, like operator type jobs. 80 hours a week, man, a month.
The one big beautiful bill, of course.
I didn't mean it. Let me rewind it.
Food stamp recipients all across the country, millions of them, are going to have to start working, volunteering, or doing job training at least 80 hours per month. This is all under the one big beautiful bill, of course, that was passed this past summer. And for the people who don't do that, well, this is what's going to happen. They can only receive benefits for 3 months in a 3-year period. This applies to Americans 55 through 64 years old who may have children 14 to 18 years old. This also ends previous exemptions for many homeless people, veterans, and young adults aging out of foster care. Here's SNAP by the numbers, by the way. 42 million Americans are on it, with a majority at or below the poverty line, and in households that include children, seniors, or someone with a disability. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the new requirements are expected to reduce the average monthly number of SNAP recipients by about 2.4 million people over the next decade. Here's Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins talking to Fox about allegations of SNAP fraud and even illegal immigrants using the program under the Biden administration.
every state for the first time in history, and this was in February, to send us their data and let us, with Doge and a war room, actually start going through this data to better understand how this explosion of SNAP benefits happened under Joe Biden. We've studied about $100 billion in spend. We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card. We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off.
And if you're new to SNAP, these new rules would take effect immediately or at your next recertification if you're already on SNAP. Back to you.
Yeah, this is definitely going.
And you know, I gotta say, I ain't on SNAP and paying for food. I don't know how y'all do. How y'all, even with the SNAP benefits, I don't know how you're paying for groceries and things like that. It's good that they give you, you know, if you're getting the max $332 a month, that's good money. You know, but with kids and everything, man, that ain't nothing, man. That wasn't even enough to feed you anyways. And he gonna be taking that away from you, and he gonna make you work. You know, so time's about no housing, no EBT. Good luck finding a job.
Be big for so many that are on SNAP here. And Darren, do we know just how many times they have to?
You competing with people that go to school, they can't even find a job. You're gonna be competing to work at the back of you know, a damn Macy's or something to you know, do storage and what do you call it, like warehouse jobs.
Certify throughout the year to continue to try to get these benefits?
You know, it depends on the person, so that's why they're saying right now for every state it's different. Some states like Maryland already put this into practice, and of course it depends on when your recertification comes up.
No doubt about that. Darren Botella, thank you so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. We always appreciate the updates.
Yep, new SNAP benefits now in requirement. I got one more. I just want to share this. This is man dead after lion mauling at a Brazil zoo.
Watch this man dangling from a tree. A female lion is just feet below. As the man slides down, the lioness begins to claw. And when the man is close enough, the animal pounces, dragging him to the ground.
Nigga, you didn't see him trying to claw at you? He's coming down the damn tree. This lion ain't fucking with you, man.
Close enough, the animal pounces, dragging him to the ground. You can see the man emerge from the vegetation briefly. In less than a minute, the struggle appears to be over. The zoo says the man was killed.
This thing got claws, man. Wherever he's in, they strong. He just grabbing into you. You just meet at that point, man. That's crazy.
Worker appears to spray a fire extinguisher to make the lioness move away. Today, the zoo known as Bica in eastern Brazil posted...
Ooh, that's a spirit created for vengeance right there, man.
This video of the lioness, who's named Leone.
He's trying to bite whoever the cameraman was like, I'll eat you, motherfucker.
Speaking Portuguese, this woman, identified as the zoo's biologist, says the lioness simply displayed natural behavior for her species. According to NBC News' translation, she adds, at no point did the idea of putting the animal down cross our minds.
Why would you? She didn't do it. She was minding her business. And then here you come in her natural habitat and she defended herself. She did nothing wrong.
This video shows the man scaling the enclosure's fence line on Instagram.
Why do you think they put those fences there, you fool?
And the zoo writing in Portuguese that Sunday morning, a man deliberately entered the lioness's enclosure, resulting in his death. The statement adding, we express our solidarity and condolences to the family and friends of the man who has not yet been identified. In another video posted by the zoo, this man, identified as the zoo's veterinarian, says in Portuguese that the enclosure meets and exceeds all safety requirements. He adds, there are some situations that simply cannot be predicted. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top...
Crazy, man. That's judgment ultimately. Let's grab this in the book of, you know what, let's go to Sirach. Chapter 12. Who would pity a charmer, man? Ecclesiasticus 12 and 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? That's what she was saying, man. Like, they kept it. There's a they exceed all the safety measures, man. You had to go out your way to get put to death like that. Reprobate. Okay? And no one's going to pity you if you come near a wild beast. Like she said, it's in its natural state. Of course it's going to do that. So no one's going to pity you. Just like with Esau. You trusting in him and thinking that he going to be there for you, you know, or help you out. Is like you getting into a lion's den. All right? Like a fool. Daniel chapter 6, verse 16. Since we talking about the lion's den, I figure I'll read it. Daniel 6, verse 16. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. So only the Lord will deliver you, or not deliver you. In this case, he wasn't delivered. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. So our forefather got put into a lion's den. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. So here it is, a whole night passed. Dude, in this, you get next to a lion, they automatically on your ass, man. They're on your ass. So he knew that he wasn't going to be here the next day. And he hasted to go to the lion's den, because the only way he would have survived being in that lion's den is if the Lord was dealing with him. Daniel 6, verse 20, and when he came to the den, and that just also shows you that the Lord wasn't dealing with whoever that man was. He cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. Drop the mic, man. Drop the mic. And he stayed in there through the whole night, man, with the thing covered up. All right. My God has sent his angel and has shut the lion's mouth, the lions, plural mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. There you go, man. So the Lord delivered Daniel. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. So why wouldn't we be believing in Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai? And this is that was nothing for him to shut up a lion's mouth. Daniel 6, verse 24, and the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So look at that. He said, and the lions had the mastery of them. mastery of them. I gotta look this up, man. What's the mastery mean? You got the mastery of them.
Strong's H, 7981. Shalate.
Shalate, to have power. You definitely had power over you. Rule, domineer, rule over. And that's what that lion had over him, that lioness. She had rule over, assert one's will over another in an arrogant way. Ooh. Bear rule, be make ruler. The lioness was made ruler over that man. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwelt in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble in fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and steadfast forever. In his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, in his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. You see, he delivereth and rescueth, or he'll destroy you. He'll do that too. Perfect example, 2 Kings 17 and 20. 24. It says, actually, 2 Kings 17 and 26, wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. And just like y'all don't know the manner of the God of the land. You don't know Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Therefore he have sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. So you don't know Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, you can get slain with beasts too. Right? Oh yeah, your SNAP benefits, man. Your SNAP benefits, man. Ezekiel 5. Let me get straight to the point. In verse 16, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, in which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. See, a lot of you are not going to be able to meet the requirements to have EBT very soon. So you're going to be screwed. Then what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you're trying to look for a job and you can't find one? When you, your kids need food and all of that, man. What are you going to do? Because that's the time we're coming into, when you can't afford housing anymore. When the taxes they're charging your landlord are going to come down to the renter, and you can't afford to rent anymore, to the point where he can't afford to even put the house on the market anymore. What are you going to do? Where's that precept? Let's find that in the Apocrypha. Scriptures talk about be as pilgrims in the earth. 2nd Ezra 16, verse 40. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be it even as pilgrims upon the earth. And this is talking about Jacob's trouble. No food, no shelter, none of that. As a matter of fact, let's go into the chat. Let's go into the chat. It says, the Lord is speaking directly to Israel, his elect, commanding them to listen. This is the same repeated call in the prophets. When judgment is approaching, the first thing the Lord says is, listen, make you ready to thy battle. The battle here is Jacob's trouble, the great tribulation. GMS teaches that this is not talking about carnal battle. We are not picking up swords or guns. The battle is spiritual preparation, and that's what we're doing right now. Strengthening your faith, being rooted in prophecy, obedience, repentance, sobriety, detaching from Babylon, preparing for persecution, famine, loss, instability. And this is what we're warning about, man. This verse is instruction. Get your mind right. The war is spiritual, and the Lord is about to shake the whole earth. That's right. We battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. 2 Corinthians 10:5, casting down, actually I'll start at 4. As a matter of fact, let's just read it, man. 2 Corinthians 10:1, now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Hamashiach, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold toward you. Salakia. See what this means. He notes that some people perceive him as timid or humble in person, but bold in his letters. And he is addressing this perception by warning them that against forcing him to be bold when he is present with them. The verse sets up a discussion about Paul's apostolic authority and the spiritual nature of his ministry. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence that wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. Let's see what this is talking about. He expresses this request out of concern for those who accuse him of acting according to the standards of the world and fears that he will be forced to act with the same confidence against them. 2 Corinthians 10:3, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Let's see what that means. Instead, the scripture says that the weapons of spiritual warfare are not carnal, but are mighty through the pulling. That's not what this says. That's the next verse. Instead, they warfare. We just read it. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Pretty much meaning you don't want to be, just because we're in the flesh, when we don't got beef with physically putting your hands on somebody else. We're not warring after the flesh. Therefore, we're not getting guns and we're not preparing ourselves for a physical battle. 2 Corinthians 10:4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And the mightiest stronghold that we see today are the lies and perceptions that this place is going to continue the way it's always been. It's going to be destroyed. It's starting to deteriorate before your eyes on a daily basis. Every single day is something new, and it's a little chip at this place. A little chip. December 1st is telling you that your EBT, you got to work and do all this stuff now. Yesterday, Andrew Yang was thinking, it might be time for UBI, Universal Basic Income. Okay? So it's already showing you that it's slowly getting to that point. Eventually, we're going to get to a point that you're going to have to, the MOTB is going to be on the table. It's going to be that time. Okay? And a lot of you are not seeing these things because you're not focused on prophecy. You're not doing any of these things. You're not building up. You're still coming up against the prophets. You're coming up listening to, people who are believing in lies. 2 Corinthians 10:5, casting down imaginations and everything that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. Okay. Okay, this verse is instruction. Get your mind right. The war is spiritual. And the Lord is about to shake the whole earth. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. This is a major GMS point. A pilgrim is someone who does not settle, is ready to move, does not cling to possessions, understands the world is temporary, stays detached and mobile. In the time of judgment, people will flee cities, move from place to place, hide, avoid Esau's troops, escape force mandates, go off grid if necessary, rely on the Lord for daily bread. So no one's ready to really wrap their mind on detaching, man. They're watching the news. Something in the news is going to spark a large exodus in the Lord's men, women, and children. Okay, I don't know what it's going to be exactly, but it's going to people are just going to leave. It's going to just disappear. And no one's going to know, like, what the hell happened to him? And I'm not talking about just up in the chariots where you're just going to be beamed up. No, you're going to dip. And you ain't going to tell nobody shit. You're going to be like, I'm out. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck about the damn cell phone. And you're going to take what you can carry, man. Being a pilgrim means don't be mentally tied to anything in this world. Job, house, money, land, comfort. Big word, man. Comfort. People like to do what's comfortable to them. Okay? If it's cold outside, they want to go where it's warm. If it's you want to do everything that comforts you, man. You want to do the least amount of work for the biggest amount of reward. Okay? And this is that the world makes you think like that. You know, and this is the time where we're supposed to be exercising our faith so that we're constantly thinking about these things. So it's easier because it's the vibration of the world is strong, man. It's a strong vibration. Okay, to go to sleep, think everything's all right. He got football, basketball, baseball, movies, holidays, you know, family, friends, all of this shit, man. It's nothing. Got to stay focused on what the Lord is going to do out here. He tells you in the book of Mark, chapter 13, things to come, the return of a Mashiach. Mark 13 in verse 33. Actually, Mark 13 and verse 32. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Okay, so only the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, knows the day that he's going to, Jacob's trouble, all of these things. Ultimately, when Yahweh Shah is going to return. Okay, but the prophecies, no one knows what day any of this is going to happen except for the Heavenly Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. So this is why we're watching and we're praying. Okay? Praying that the Lord keeps us in the truth, man. You got to pray to the Lord. Because there's so many temptations out there that'll overthrow you. This devil will take your faith away from you, man. You got to hold on to that like it's the most valuable thing that you possess in this world. You lose that, you're dead. Goodbye. Mark 13, verse 34. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. So you don't want to be sleep when the master of the house come back, and that's Yahweh Shai. Because before, I never watched the news the way I watch it today. And when I did watch the news, I wasn't watching it for things that pertain to prophecy. That's a different way of watching the news. I don't just watch it for, I wonder what the weather is going to be today, and ignore everything that's going on in the world, man. Landlords and all of that. Meanwhile, this devil's over here. The White House Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized a follow-up strike on survivors of a U.S. attack on a boat suspected of carrying drug traffickers. All right. And guess what? No accountability. He's breaking his own Geneva codes. Esau don't give a fuck about his own laws. He don't care. He's not an upright person. All right, so when he starts to come down on y'all, he gonna be violating the law. He gonna be violating you. There is no law with this devil. All right, there's none of that bullshit. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. So he smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He continues to do that. Okay. The damn hammer. Jeremiah 50 verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? He is the hammer of the whole earth. Right? He's out punishing people in Venezuela and the sea waters over there. Israelites, he's going to be doing it to you too. Especially when he come down with great wrath, knowing he got a short time left. What do you think he's doing that for? He's showing you who he is. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, those of us who are believers, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. That's why he's breaking these laws. He's trying to get to the final destination as quick as he can. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10. Let us suppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. He don't care. He wants to oppress the poor righteous man. Ultimately, the Israelites and the elect. That's what he wants to do. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Yeah, let his strength be the law of justice. His strength is his military might. Be the law. If you can't beat his strength, hey man, I guess his law rules over you. That's his law, his strength. He has the power to put people to death and no one can persecute him. Who cares if he broke the Geneva Code? He's letting his strength be the law. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Yeah, you're feeble if you can't defend yourself and you can't do nothing against what I'm doing. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. Yeah, that's what we're doing, exposing this devil. He upbraideth us with our offending of the law, and not just the law itself, but guess what? His own laws. His own laws, man. Let's see what this says. Being a pilgrim means don't be mentally tied to anything in this world. Job, house, money, land, comfort. The mindset is required to endure. This mindset is required to endure Jacob's trouble. Okay? And I agree. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, this is not your rest. 1 Peter 2:11, strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts. Hebrews 11:13 through 16, the fathers confessed they were strangers and pilgrims, and that's what we are. Preparing for trouble. Jeremiah 30:7, the time of Jacob's trouble. Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. Ephesians 6:12, the armor of God. This is the real battle. Luke 21:36, watch and pray always to escape the coming evils. Let's grab that. I think I grabbed that in Mark. As a matter of fact, yeah, I did. I just grabbed the version in Mark. But it sounds better in Luke. I'm going to start at Luke 21:34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. And this is why we don't want to be drunk. Sleep, not literally in your bed, sleep, but just being with the world, going back into darkness. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth, which ye watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Yeah, you gotta pray always, watch and pray, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things. Okay. And who's watching and as well as praying? That's who you should be watching. Whoever's watching as well as praying. Some people are paying attention to shit that don't really fucking matter. Dumb shit, man. And some people are paying attention to everything. This, that. You might go into something over here, then, okay, look at this over here, blow the horn over here. But watch out for this, watch out for this. That's what Apostle Tahar and the elder brothers at Great Millstone be doing. Okay, and you can be doing the same thing, man. Because that's the only way you're going to know. When you watch these other camps, man, and they worried about who is the Gentiles being saved and shit like that, trying to cause mass confusion. I mean, that's important too, because there's always new believers that are coming. You don't know what time you wake up into this truth, and next thing you know, you in the middle. Israel's always at war, man. Internally. Ever since I came to this truth, it's always been like that. It was always something different all the time. Every couple of months, every couple of weeks, it's getting shorter and shorter. Then it's gonna be every damn day, because there's just so much going on. Luke 21:37, and in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives, and all the people came early in the morning to him in the temple for to hear him. Letting go of the world. 2nd Esdras 14:13, set thy house in order, cast away burdens, for greater evils. Let's go there. 2nd Esdras 14. 2nd Esdras 14. In verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. This is the time to be doing this. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. Okay, the burdens of man is just the job, the work. How am I going to do this, that, and the third? We should be focused on strengthening our minds, man, because these times it almost sounds like it's something that doesn't happen in reality. Esau got it where he puts it in all these movies and makes it look fictional. But this is really going to happen. It's written. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times, man. Beautiful precept, man. 1 Corinthians 7:29. Use the world, but don't abuse it. The fashion of this world passes away. Gone. fashion of this world is passing away. 1 Corinthians 7. I'll start at 28. And if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoiced not, and they that buy as though they possessed not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. You don't want to be like that. But a lot of men are, and they're going to be exposed in this time, man. They're more concerned about pleasing their wife than the Lord, because it's comfortable now. Ready, keyword definition, ready, Hebrew equivalent, kun, established, prepared, set firm, meaning mentally fortified, spiritually stable, not shaken, battle, not carnal war. This is spiritual conflict, endurance during tribulation, resisting Esau's system, MOTB, persecution. Okay, so looking for a job in this time, all this shit, it should be nothing. You got to expect these things. Your food, your water, your resources, your family, all of that, man. Famine, martial law, sedition, destruction, diseases, economic collapse. Pilgrims, temporary dwellers spiritually, those not attached to this world, ready to move when the Lord directs. And the Lord's going to let us know when it's that time. He gonna let us know when it's that time. He want to be putting the spirit on us to watch the way we're watching. If you got that heavy spirit of watching a lot, that is a beautiful spirit to be in the last days. Because everything is a distraction. You constantly being distracted all of the time. Esau don't want you knowing what's going on. He don't want you knowing shit. Pete Hegseth and all of that. You know, he don't care. He don't want you to see that. Let's see if I can grab this precept. I always mess it up. I always think it's 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And that's what he's doing. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. That's pretty much it on that. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 2:12. This verse is the mindset of the wicked, mainly Esau and all the ungodly men, speaking about the righteous, the prophets, and ultimately Yahweh Shai. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous. This shows premeditated persecution. The wicked actively scheme against the prophets. And there's going to be a time they're going to be looking for us, more importantly. But majority of y'all going to be in the world, man. You're going to be succumb to the persecution that you're going to bring on you with the MOTB. They set traps, watch our steps, look for ways to accuse us, build laws and systems to attack righteousness. And that's what he's going to do. Try to take this word off the street, make us an offender of a word. This applies to the prophets today. The wicked want to silence, demonize, and target the men who teach the truth. And that's the first and foremost, it starts with the believers. 1 Peter 4, verse 17, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? So you don't want to hear that. You don't want to, it's just because you don't believe, that's not going to be, it's not going to be enough, man, to make you get saved. Okay. It's not going to be enough. Let me grab this in the book of Romans chapter 3 and verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. So just because you don't believe, it don't change anything. These things are still going to happen. Because he is not for our turn, the righteous does not go along with the world's agenda. Not for their turn, not supporting their way of life, their system, their rulership. GMS teaches that we are counterculture. We're not with the LGBTQ doctrine, feminism, lies, idolatry, Esau's authority, or his MOTB agenda. And he is clean, contrary to our doings. The righteous lives in opposition to everything this world promotes. Holiness versus wickedness, obedience versus rebellion, truth versus deceit, law versus lawlessness. Exactly. And who else is doing that? Not the heathen. Esau hates the righteous because the righteous make his wickedness stand out. And that's what we're supposed to do. Isaiah 54. Expose these 2/3 Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and especially Esau, Edom. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord Yahweh. So that's right. The prophets rebuked the world for breaking the Most High's laws, adultery, bloodshed, idolatry, witchcraft, pride, oppression. Esau hates being told he's wicked. Oh, well, you're wicked, Esau. You are the wicked. Malachi 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So we're always going to remind Esau, the Lord hates your ass. Malachi 1 verse 3, and I'll start at 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. He hates you, Esau. In objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education, the righteous condemn the infamy, shame, dishonor, notoriety of the wicked's education, meaning their philosophies, doctrines, science, culture, lifestyle. Education here equals their entire system of learning built on lies. All of this is built on lies. Evolution, atheism, democracy, feminism, Edomite supremacy, false religions, Babylonian customs. That's your education, man. The transgressions of your education. The righteous exposes these things as transgression and sin, which is why the wicked consider the prophets a threat. That's right. This verse prophesies the hatred the wicked have toward the men of the Lord. And there's a bunch of precepts. But I didn't want to make this too long. But I'm going to skim through it anyways. The wicked lying in wait. Psalms 10, 8 through 10. The wicked lurk in the secret places to murder the innocent. Psalms 37 to 12. The wicked plot against the just, which are the righteous. Luke 11, 53 through 54. They sought to catch Yahweh Shai in his words. And that's what they want to do with us. Catch us in our words. Because we're like following Yahweh Shai. My sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. And we're doing the same thing. So the same things are going to happen to us. They're going to try to catch us with our words. Make us an accuser of the word. Of a word. Isaiah 29. And 20. Nope. Isaiah 29, 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, which is Esau, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word. That's Esau. He can make you offender of the word. Oh, he hates America. He hates small hats. He hates this, that, and the third. When you just telling the truth, we're the Israelites, according to the Bible. Salvation's for Israel. Esau, you going to slavery. You're gonna be destroyed. And what else? You're wicked. Okay? And lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. That's us. We reproving in the gate because we know it starts at the top, and we exposing their ass with this word. And turn aside the just for a thing of not. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, they turn the just for a thing of not, which are the righteous. Like we're nothing. But the Lord's going to stand it against him. So there's nothing really he can do to us at the end of the day, unless the Lord allows him to do it. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. So he's not going to be ashamed, nor his face wax pale, meaning we're not going to be losing our faith, man, looking like, about to die. We're going to be built up. We're going to be strong. We're going to keep our faith. Contrary to their doings, John 3:19-20, men hate the light because their deeds are evil. 1 John 3:12, verse 13, Cain hated Abel because his own works were evil. Isaiah 59:15, he that departs from evil makes himself a prey. And that's what we're doing. We're making ourselves a prey by departing from evil. Rebuking their lawlessness. Wisdom of Psalm 5:1, the righteous shall stand boldly before those who afflicted him. That's what we're doing now. We're standing boldly in the face of our enemies, in the midst of our captivity. Isaiah 58:1, cry aloud, spare not, show my people their transgressions. And that's what we're doing with our people too. Showing them, sparing not, going out on the highways and hedges and showing our people their transgressions. Wisdom of Amos 5:10, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. That's the Israelites, 2/3 Israelites and Edomites, condemning their false education. Colossians 2:8, beware philosophy and vain deceit. Jeremiah 10:2, learn not the way of the heathen. 1 Corinthians 1:20, the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Heavenly Father. That's right. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon 2 verse 12 reveals the mind of the wicked toward the righteous. They hate the prophets because the prophets expose their sin, oppose their wicked system, and reject their false education. The chapter ultimately foreshadows how the wicked plotted against Yahweh Shai and how they will come against the elect in these last days. That's exactly what Wisdom of Solomon 2 is about. But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.